Thank you for joining us, especially during these difficult times in history, when it is reassuring that there are leaders who work hard to contribute significantly to their communities, inspiring the public locally and nationwide with much needed hope and more. One such community leader is Rabbi Avraham Friedman, who's been involved with a lot of community outreach long before the COVID pandemic. He will share his views following these messages.
Life Extension magazine brings you new discoveries in health and anti-aging. Our science-based research and supplements are so advanced they're many years ahead of the medical mainstream, with quality control standards that exceed FDA mandates. Life Extension has covered groundbreaking medical research for more than 35 years. For your health and future, you deserve the best. Learn more at lifeextension.com.
As the COVID-19 pandemic and economic health crisis has gotten worse, especially in South Florida, there is an increasing insecurity along with everything else. Over 18% of children here are food insecure. Since March 2020, the Chabad Synagogue of Coral Springs has been providing free groceries several times a week for curbside pickup, including fresh produce, as well as kosher items for families. Rabbi Avraham Friedman estimates that the Chabad has donated thousands of boxes and packages of food over the last few months, and said they are doing their very best to make sure Coral Springs residents do not go hungry. With us now is Rabbi Avraham Friedman. Rabbi, we can't shake hands, but this is another beautiful festive event. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, there's nothing more important than making sure that people have food on the table. And so we were actually very blessed to be able to connect with various channels of receiving food that we could in turn distribute amongst the community. Every person, every single person deserves to have food on the table. And it's such a special feeling of satisfaction. You know, it's sad on the one hand that there are people who actually don't have food to put on the table, but it's extremely rewarding and a tremendous satisfaction to be able to provide that basic good and the feeling of community of every people that are coming here to get food of every background, of every ethnic background. Everybody that comes here is just a fine human being. They're so appreciative, they're thankful. We have great volunteers, young kids that just come out here right now. As you can see, it's 10 o'clock at night. I just sent out a message. They responded to the call. They're working hard just for the mitzvah, just to be kind and help other people. In a time like today, when unfortunately there's strife and sometimes unnecessary strife, if people could come together over here in doing good, and helping each other with a smile, with a true heart of dedication and love for everybody in this community, it's just a wonderful thing.
And now I'd like to ask Rabbi Friedman to come up and say a blessing while we light the menorah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, my saintly teacher and mentor, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Grand Rebbe of Chabad, would always repeat the following simple but important message. Every night of Hanukkah, we add one more candle to the menorah, telling us that the light of the menorah that we lit yesterday is not enough. Tonight, we have to add another candle. We must always continue to grow and increase in all matters of goodness and holiness. Like the menorah, the United States of America continues to be a source of light and a source of hope for God-fearing, freedom-loving people the world over. My father was a Holocaust survivor. He was in Auschwitz. And he would relate that the moment the survivors saw the American soldiers with the flag coming through the gates of the concentration camp, that was the moment that they knew they had survived the war and that the horrible darkness and evil had been distinguished. Mr. President, may God bless you and give you wisdom and strength so that you can continue leading our country in peace and prosperity. And may God bless the United States of America. Happy Hanukkah.
Rabbi, it's so good to have you with us again.
Well, the same here, and it's good to see you again in better health, Baruch Hashem.
Thank you. We just saw some material from more than a year ago with you distributing food from semi-trailer trucks filled with food and necessities to be given to anyone in need, regardless of whether they were Jewish, Hispanic, African Americans, or Asians. You helped everyone. Please tell our audience why.
Well, thank God we had that opportunity, and we're still doing it. Maybe not as frequent, but we're still doing it. When the pandemic came around and people were very concerned and struggling and so on, and we felt that it was so important that we should do what we can do to help all, and especially as it was a time when there was also, and sadly even now, there's some strife that's out there. So we really put together a group of volunteers, and it was amazing because it was a group of volunteers from all backgrounds, all religions, racial or ethnic backgrounds, and people came together and with such positive energy and such commitment to being good and eagerness to help others, and again help others from all backgrounds and from all religions and so on. So it was a very, very positive experience, and it continues to still occur and happen.
It's most commendable. Rabbi, you've been recognized and acknowledged from the White House down to South Florida. Please tell us more.
Well, we've been recognized by the White House, which was, of course, a great honor and very special. But at the same time, I will say it was due to a very sad and tragic occurrence, which was the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And along with other clergy members and dedicated members of the community, we did whatever we can to try to be there and comfort the families and so on. And in recognition of that, and in honoring the families that suffered so much, there was a Hanukkah event at the White House, and I was asked to officiate at that event, which was, of course, very, very special and very meaningful, and brought comfort to the families, which is most important.
Promoting compassion and friendship is more essential than ever. How do you see the challenges facing the Jewish community and the United States in general at this time in history?
Well, in terms of, there is a saying that just like one knows one's qualities, they should also know one's faults. You need to know the qualities so that you utilize them in the best and the most productive and efficient way, and you also need to know some of the faults so that you could correct them. So here too, in terms of our country, there's a lot of good and there's challenges. Of course, unfortunately, we hear more anti-Semitism. The country is definitely divided and so on. But at the same time, I would say there's also a lot of good people out there, and I see that. And that is a reason not just only for hope, but for becoming involved and doing good. There is a saying from King Solomon, Ma'at or docha harbe choshech, a little bit of light dispels a lot of dark. So our job as individuals is to be a light of goodness, a light of good morality, good values, and positivity and light attracts people. And by doing so, we will definitely continue to see, greatness from this country, which starts with individuals and the freedom of individuals to act as they believe in a good, positive way. And America is a good country at its heart, at its core.
Thank you, Rabbi. It's a pleasure and honor always to have you with us.
Thank you for the opportunity, and only blessings and good health to you and your family.
Thank you. And we'll now conclude with a community event you arranged, hosting the famous Alan Dershowitz and our sponsor, Bill Falloon.
Welcome, and thank you all for joining us here this evening. It is our honor to host Professor Alan Dershowitz this evening, or as I found out today from a childhood friend, Avi Dershowitz. It is our zchut, it is our merit to host a man who has done so much for humanity and especially the Jewish people. Some people who have achieved fame have not utilized that influence to its fullest. Professor Dershowitz, on the other hand, has used his fame and extraordinary talents to be there for us, to defend Israel and the Jewish people. What might be a little less known, he has also been there for many individuals who have needed his help and guidance, which is a sign of a genuinely caring and good person. I had a conversation today with a childhood friend who is also a dear friend of Professor Dershowitz. His name is Rabbi Herschel Zarchi, a Chabad rabbi of Harvard, where Professor Dershowitz is the faculty advisor. And to use Rabbi Zarchi's words, he said like this: Alan is a true Ohev Yisrael, a true lover of Israel and the Jewish people. For this, we are here this evening not only to hear the wise words of the distinguished professor, but more importantly, to say thank you for all that you have already done and continue to do for Am Yisrael. Again, we are truly honored that the professor is with us here tonight. I would also like to extend a special thank you to the dignitaries who have joined us here this evening. We have our new mayor, Skip Campbell. We wish him much success in leading the city, this wonderful city, to be an even better place for all of us. We have the mayor of Parkland, our neighboring city. We have here with us tonight as well Mr. Abe Fischler, founder and president emeritus of Nova University. And many other distinguished rabbis and leaders of the community. However, we always begin with a Dvar Torah, with some words of Torah. Call up the founder of Chabad of Coral Springs, Yossi Denberg, to open up with a Dvar Torah.
Hello, everybody. What an honor. I did not know that you called a childhood friend to discover that Alan is Avi. I spoke to the Mohel. Avraham Mordechai. It always pays to know the guy with the knife. There is a book written a long time ago, long before chutzpah. It is the center book of the Torah. It's called Vayikra, Leviticus. When a child goes to a school, a Jewish school, the custom in Chabad is that you don't begin with Genesis, Bereshis, in the beginning. You actually teach every single Jewish boy and girl the first words of the third book of the Torah, Vayikra. It literally means, and he called. He referring to God, calling Moses. Vayikra. If you study the word Vayikra, what jumps out of the page is that all of the letters are written in the standard size text, except for the last letter of that word. It's the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Aleph. The Aleph is small, diminished. Many sages comment on why the Aleph is in a smaller font size. They all talk about the humility of Moses. He didn't want it to say the word Vayikra. He actually wanted the Aleph out of the book so that it should read Vayikar, as if God happened to meet Moses. The word Vayikar without the Aleph means a chance encounter. Vayikra means God made an appointment to speak to Moshe, or to speak to Moses. This has been the calling card and the chutzpah of the Jewish people. Although we are the most numerically amongst all the peoples of the world, we are the smallest, the least, in terms of pure numbers, insignificant. We have been called to greatness. It is the height of chutzpah that Jews say to the world, we're going to teach you values, ethics, morality. And the fact of the life is that much of what's good in society comes from Vayikra, because we were called and we keep calling out to the world. It's chutzpah. It's the chutzpah that we are proud of. And it's used to combat the chutzpah of the rest of the world that says we can do what we want. As already mentioned by Rabbi Friedman, it truly is an honor when you host a Jew who has spent time, effort, and energy of Vayikra, calling out to the world and pointing out what's wrong and then pointing out what's right. Everyone, thank you for joining us.
We would now like to invite the new mayor of Coral Springs, Mr. Campbell Skip, to please come up and say a short welcome.
We in Coral Springs are truly delighted to have you, Professor, in our community. And I can tell you that I am truly humbled and honored as your new mayor when the Rabbi Friedman asked me to come here to this Chabad in Coral Springs to welcome this distinguished guest. All of you are going to be integral in this TV production, which I find to be very important to the Jewish community. But what you don't realize, it's also very important to humanity, to all of us. And what the professor's going to tell you applies to each and every individual, especially in Coral Springs in the United States. So I know you're going to enjoy tonight's production, and I know you're going to be very part of it. I'd like to say welcome, Shalom, to Alan, and I look forward to you having a great production here tonight. Some of you might not know this, but I was in a seminary for 6 years And the book of Leviticus was something that I had to study. And this is unprepared. So it's coming from the many years ago that I was studying the book of Leviticus. But I guess it's appropriate that you mentioned it tonight because we have a professor of law. And of course, Leviticus is the book of the Torah, which tells us about what to do, what not to do, procedures, and it's important for the life of the Jewish community. So I think the book of Leviticus, with a law professor here, is very appropriate. So Alan, good luck tonight. Unfortunately, I just found out about this a couple days ago, and I have a family function I have to go to, but I have to leave. But I'm looking forward to seeing the production when it comes out on Shalom TV. Shalom to all of you.
Skip, I don't know your Yiddish name because Rabbi Denberg didn't know your moil. I'd now like to call up the mayor from Parkland, Michael, to say a few words as well.
Thank you for having me. Welcome to our neighboring city on behalf of the city of Parkland. Thank you for being here. As a young lawyer, I'm honored to be up here and to witness your speech. As a Jew and as a strong supporter of Israel, I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for everything that you do to protect a country that I visited and that I love. And I thank you for everything. God bless.
Also extend blessings on behalf of Senator Jeremy Ring, who actually wanted to be here tonight, but he's on his way serving the people heading up to Tallahassee. Tonight's event would not be possible without a major sponsorship of Life Extensions. We'd like to thank Mr. Bill Fallon, who's here tonight, for being the main sponsor of tonight's event and being the sponsor of the Shalom Show for, I think, close to 30 years. I'd like to ask him to please come up and say a few words.
It's truly an honor to be here tonight. Back in year 1977, I incorporated an organization right here in South Florida. We had a Pompano Beach laboratory. And I set up an organization called the Life Extension Foundation. We're a nonprofit group. And since 1977, we've been growing. We're currently the world's largest consumer-based anti-aging medical group in the world. We have members everywhere. We have an incredible concentration of members right here in South Florida.
שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, עומד עלינו לכלותנו.
לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, עמד עלינו לכלותנו.
והקדוש מצילנו מידה.
והיא שעמדה לאבותינו, והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו,
שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, עמד עלינו לכלותנו, והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו מידה. והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו מידה. שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, לכלותנו, והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו מידה.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition.
This brings us to the end of our special show for today. I'm Richard Peretz. Thank you for being with us.